Welcome back to Sissy Maya. Here, we embrace true femininity. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to never miss an update.
It was a night like any other, the air thick with anticipation and the electric hum of excitement as I made my way through the throngs of people towards the concert venue. The music was already thundering in the distance, the bass so intense it seemed to vibrate my very bones. I couldn't help but feel a surge of adrenaline course through me as I neared the entrance, my heart hammering against my chest like a frantic bird. And then, just as I was about to enter the main hall, something caught my eye. A figure stood off to the side, their back to me, dressed head to toe in a costume that was unlike anything I had ever seen before. It was a mix of feathers, sequins, and leather, the colors of the rainbow swirling together in a dazzling display. Even from behind, I could tell that this person was tall and slender, with long, flowing hair that seemed to move of its own accord in time with the music. There was something about their presence that was both commanding and alluring, and I found myself unable to tear my eyes away from them. As I stood there, transfixed, the figure turned ever so slightly, and for just a moment, their face was visible. My breath caught in my throat as I saw that it was a woman, her features painted with glitter and makeup, her lips a bright shade of red. But it wasn't just her appearance that left me stunned, it was the way she carried herself, the way she moved. It was as if she owned the very air around her. And in that moment, I knew that I had to meet her. I mustered up all the courage I could find and approached her, my heart pounding in my chest. "Excuse me," I said, my voice coming out as a squeak. "I couldn't help but notice your costume. It's absolutely amazing." She turned to face me fully, and for the first time, our eyes met. They were the most beautiful shade of green the first had ever seen, and they held a depth of wisdom and experience that belied her youthful appearance. "Why, thank you," she said, her voice smooth and melodic. "I've been working on it for months. I'm glad you appreciate it." The attraction between us was palpable, and I found myself unable to look away from her. As if drawn by some invisible thread, I reached out and touched her arm, feeling the softness of her skin beneath the fabric. She smiled warmly at me, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "You know," she said, "it's not every day that someone appreciates my work. Would you like to join me for the concert?" I didn't hesitate for a moment. "I'd love to," I said, my voice barely audible over the music. And with that, we made our way inside, the throngs of people parting like the Red Sea to make way for this unexpected, beautiful encounter. As we found our seats, I couldn't help but wonder where this night would take us, and if our fates were truly intertwined. The lights began to dim, and the music swelled, signaling the start of the show. I turned to her, feeling a mixture of anticipation and nervousness welling up inside me. "So," I said, trying to make conversation, "what's your name?" She leaned in closer, her breath tickling my ear. "Call me Phoenix," she whispered, "because that's what I intend to rise from the ashes and become." And with that, she took my hand in hers, squeezing it gently, and together, we disappeared into the dazzling world of the concert. As the music played, I found myself lost in her presence. Every time she moved, it was as if we were dancing together, our bodies swaying in perfect harmony. Her eyes never left mine, and I could feel the intensity of her gaze burning a trail through my very soul. She was everything I had ever wanted in a partner, and I knew, without a doubt, that I was falling in love with her. The concert was unlike anything I had ever experienced before. The music was so powerful, so moving, that it seemed to transport us to another realm entirely. Every note, every word, felt like it was speaking directly to our hearts, and we danced and sang and laughed and cried together, losing ourselves in the moment. As the final song faded away, the crowd erupted into applause, and I turned to Phoenix, my heart racing with anticipation. She smiled at me, her eyes shining with a light that seemed to come from within, and I knew, in that instant, that my life had irrevocably changed. We left the concert hand in hand, the world around us fading away as we walked down the empty streets, lost in our own little bubble. Phoenix lived in a world unlike anything I had ever known. Her apartment was a kaleidoscope of color and light, with costumes and accessories hanging from every available surface. She told me stories of her travels, of the people she had met and the places she had been, and I felt like I was discovering a whole new world right alongside her. As the night wore on, we grew closer, and I found myself unable to resist the urge to kiss her. She responded with equal passion, her lips warm and soft against mine, and I could feel the heat between us building with each passing moment. I knew that this was it, this was the moment I had been waiting for, the moment when I could finally be truly happy. But, she then told me something that blew my mind away. She told me that she's not a woman, but a man who likes to crossdress. My heart skipped a beat. I didn't know how to react. On one hand, I had been attracted to her, or should I say, him, and I felt a deep connection with him. On the other hand, this revelation threw me for a loop. I had never been with someone like Phoenix before, and I wasn't sure how to process this new information. We continued to talk, and as we did, I began to realize that I didn't care about his gender. I cared about the person he was, the person he had become. He was still the same Phoenix who had written that incredible song, who had shared his stories with me, who had made me feel alive again. And I wanted to be with him, no matter what anyone else thought. Phoenix smiled at me, reading the emotions in my eyes. "I'm glad you understand," he said softly. "I was afraid you wouldn't." He took my hand in his, and for the first time, I felt the strength and resilience of this beautiful person beneath the delicate fingers. "I want you to know that no matter what, I will always be honest with you. And I want you to be honest with me too." I leaned in and kissed him gently on the lips. "I will," I said, my voice shaking slightly. "I promise." And with that, we collapsed into each other's arms, our hearts beating as one, our futures intertwined.